there it is. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, ready.
is it going?
Yep.
There it is. All right. So, obligatory warning label. We're just a couple idiots. We're definitely going to get a bunch of things wrong. Good luck with that if you get angry at it, because I'm just going to tell you the same thing that I just said. I'm stupid. Don't listen to me.
I'm a natural born idiot too.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
sir. It's the only thing I'm good at, unfortunately.
A professional.
Right. All right. So today we're going to go through the history of witchcraft, starting with the Greek and Roman era. It begins at 8th century BCE and follows through all the way to the modern era with uh, Wiccans and other silly nonsense happening on Reddit that doesn't at all resemble the actual pagans of the past.
You had me until you said Reddit. Now I feel there's a bunch of cringe incoming.
Yeah, but that's where they all live nowadays, dude. That's not my fault, okay? I didn't do that to us. They did that to us. We are the victims here. Okay, so let's start with the Greeks. Greek mythology is filled with figures associated with magic and witchcraft because it's mythology. Who'd thunk it? Often depicted as powerful women who could manipulate nature, summon spirits, or control others through potions and spells. Circe, from the 8th century BCE, from the Odyssey, is one of the earliest literary depictions of a witch. She appears in Homer's Odyssey somewhere around 750 BCE. She's
As depicted.
described. Say again.
As depicted. Sorry, go on.
What? Don't sit here and word police me right now. Okay, you didn't pull up the information. I'll read the information. You make the funny happen. Okay.
I was saying as depicted. Siri. Isn't that Siri?
No, Circe. Circe.
Oh.
Siri. What? Homie, we're not talking about iPhones today. We're talking about witches. What are you on about? All right, so she's described as a powerful sorceress who lives on an island of Aeaea. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that word. That seems like a can of worms. And is skilled in pharmakia, the use of potions and herbs, which is going to be a shockingly frequent subject while we're talking about this. Circe famously transforms Odysseus's men into pigs, but later aids him after he resists her magic. The pigs part, kind of weird. I don't remember Odysseus. Wait, was Odysseus like the Roman or Greek equivalent of a cop at that time? Because that would be shockingly appropriate, actually.
I believe so, yes.
Next, after Circe, you have Medea from the 5th century BCE from Europe. Oh boy. Boy, I'm not a big fan of these Greek names. Euripides Medea. Medea, a key figure in Greek mythology, was a sorceress and the granddaughter of the sun god Helios. She used her magic to help Jason retrieve, oh, thank God, an actual regular name. Bless you, Greeks. Retrieved the golden fleece and later enacted vengeance against him for his betrayal because nothing can ever be too good for too long in their mythologies, otherwise it wouldn't be worth remembering. Medea's story, dramatized by, here we go with this word again, Euripides in 431 BCE, portrays her as a skilled magician using herbs, poisons, and spells. So, a doctor in the old days. Everybody in the old days just called anyone who had any kind of knowledge of how to like help and heal people a witch. And that is a depressing fact because God, imagine where medical science would be today if we didn't do that.
Bitch was just a druid.
Well, we'll get to the druids at a later date cuz that is a funny story in its own right.
Okay, I'm going to connect to this somehow.
Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, is next. She was a revered yet feared deity associated with magic, ghosts, and the underworld. So she's like the goth version of Medea and Circe. She's frequently mentioned in magical texts and rituals and was often invoked in spells. By the classical period, 5th to 4th century BCE, Hecate was closely linked with necromancy and crossroads magic, which I'm pretty sure just makes her the original goth Dami mommy. I'm kind of with it, actually.
We have a druid, a necromancer. What's next? A fucking wizard?
No, because that would be a male, which would eliminate them from the idea of witchcraft.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
have to talk about sorcerers and wizards another time. Although I feel like if we dive into wizards, we might accidentally end up in unfortunately pointy hat territory, especially if we're talking about grand wizards.
That would be quite grand now, wouldn't it?
That would be quite grand. Greek magical practices and texts. Pharmakia, the use of magic and potions. The Greek term pharmakia originally referred to the use of herbs and drugs, but later took on a negative connotation, implying sorcery or poisoning. Practitioners of pharmakia, also known as pharmakoi, were sometimes suspected of using magic to harm others, because if you know how to heal others, then it would also imply that you know how to harm others. So I'm guessing that comes about because some fool with something that they didn't understand how to fix ended up dying, and they decided, well, you must be a witch because you're not a great doctor. Uh, you know, living in a post COVID world, I'm starting to think that still happens today, actually.
What a real pharmacist.
What a real the first one to catch the title. The Greeks had the curse tablets, catadesmoi and defixiones, a thin lead sheet inscribed with magical curses, often placed in graves or wells. Bro, they what? Wait, what? They were writing down basically rude shit posts on thin lead sheets and then dropping them into wells. No wonder why these guys thought that this was magic. They were literally just poisoning themselves.
Etching into the lead so it leaches easier into the drinking
Right,
water.
right. Let's give it
What
more
could possibly
surface
go wrong?
area so we can kill ourselves even faster. I'd love to see it. Used from 5th century BCE onwards, they were meant to invoke the gods or spirits to harm rivals, enemies, or unfaithful lovers. Or unintentionally yourselves, you fucking idiots. It never gets better. It never gets better.
We're going to
Common in
KD right now.
Yeah, right. Common in Athens, Corinth, and other Greek city states. The Greek magical papyri. I'm gonna get better at saying these words as we progress further in time because these are just horrible. A collection of magical texts from Egypt, Greece, and Rome contains spells for love, protection, necromancy, and summoning supernatural forces, which is a weird grab bag because love and necromancy seems like
God damn, that's what goes on that.
strange. I
Still my
wonder
joke.
specifically in which order they practice those spells.
Why not? Forward and in reverse. Love, necromancy, love.
Oh no. The Greeks eventually ended up adopting laws against magic. Some city states had laws regulating harmful magic because I guess they thought that there was not harmful magic, which doesn't seem to be indicated in the stories, but whatever. In Athens, in 5th century BCE, an individual could be prosecuted for using magic to cause harm, though many magical practices remained legal. That's probably the ones that are like, will tell your fortune and all that nonsense, which is likely what inspired the Bible verses that we'll eventually get to here in a moment. The philosopher Plato, from 428 to 347 BCE, warned against the dangers of sorcery in the Laws, advocating punishment for those who used it with malicious intent. Naming your philosophical text the Laws goes unimaginably hard. That's crazy. It's like these are the ones. There won't be any more. Don't worry about that. I wish I had that much confidence in anything I did. Now, moving on from the Greeks, we have the Roman witchcraft era, which is from 8th century BCE to 5th century CE. So 13 Yeah, 1,300 years. Wow. The Romans really held it down for quite a while there. Roman laws and persecution of magic. While Romans inherited many Greek beliefs about magic, they became more rigid in their legal stance against it, especially as the Roman Republic transitioned into the empire. The laws of the 12 Tables. From 451 to 450 BCE, one of the earliest Roman legal codes. That's pressing that codes against magic is one of their earliest codes, but whatever. It contained provisions against harmful magic, particularly curses that could damage crops. I mean, I guess at that point they had that one weird general guy who was trying to create a army of 6-foot chads in an era of 5'3" nobodies. One of the Lex Cornelia de Sicaris et Beneficis. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Fuck.
In 81 BCE, enacted under Lucius Cornelius Sulla, this law criminalized the use of poisons, which often overlapped with magic. Because if you don't understand a thing, what's the phrase? Sufficiently advanced science seems to be magic. Let's go. It was used to prosecute individuals accused of harmful witchcraft, especially during political purges. Yo, we should bring that back. Anytime we have a political disagreement, we'll just start accusing each other of witchcraft instead of accusing each other of corruption and fraud.
I'm pretty sure they still do that in third world countries.
I've never wanted to be a third world country before, but I kind of do now. The persecution of witches, which is the first instance, but there will be several more through this story. In the 1st to the 4th century CE, by the time of the Roman Empire, witchcraft was increasingly seen as a threat to public order. Emperor Augustus, from 27 BCE to 14 CE, reinforced laws against sorcery, particularly those targeting the imperial family. Who is surprised? Of course, the emperor is going to enact laws that stop you from putting hexes and poisons and spells on his that just seems logical. That's like hearing our presidents at the very end of their terms do a bunch of pardons for people that don't deserve them. Like, yeah, of course, dude. Emperor Tiberius, from 14 to 37 CE, executed many accused witches and astrologers, fearing their influence over politics. Astrologers is a weird one, because doesn't that just mean that you look up at the sky and you wonder?
Yeah, but some people tied it into like fate and bullshit like that. I mean, you had, like Sisters of the Fate around, old Greek shit.
This 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 is why pagans are
Stars.
truly evil.
It's
They
like you're
just
having it's like trying to see the future through a cup of tea because you see like the weeds and shit are kind of weird. It's like the same thing with stars. The stars are weird today. Oh god, the stars are weird
Oh
today.
god, the stars are weird today. Once we get to a point where we're talking about South America and like the ziggurats and everything, I think that'll be a lot funnier. But for now, these people just seem like morons for being mad at the people who, looked up at the sky and thought.
Galileo, more like we're gonna burn him at the stake, Leo.
More like gallows, Leo. Get in there.
That's pretty good.
Apuleius's trial, 2nd century CE. The writer Apuleius was accused of using magic to seduce a wealthy widow. Based. He defended
Would you?
himself in Apologia, arguing that his practices were philosophical rather than sorcerous. No. You see, I just said that I charmed my way into her pants. I didn't actually mean it. It was a turn of phrase, guys. You're overreacting.
Whence cometh the dicking? Dude was a real fucking poet.
That's funny as hell, dude. For Roman magical practices, we have the Defixiones, curse tablets, like the Greek. I already failed at saying that K word, so I'm not going to say that one again. The lead tablets, they slipped into the wells like a bunch of morons. Romans widely used curse tablets for love spells, revenge, and legal disputes.
So I beat her with a lead tablet.
Is this
It's
the
illegal.
origin of why everybody hates a lawyer until they need one?
That makes
Excuse
sense to me.
excuse me, magic lawman. Curse my foes. Here, have money. Love that. All right.
Magic man who likes money. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We're not talking about those ones yet. We'll get to those ones in a later date, especially when we're talking about the Romans. Many have been found in Bath, England, weird name, 4th century CE, suggesting their use in Roman Britain. I didn't know there were Romans in Britain. We're going to have to look into that at some point. Love magic and amulets. Romans used love potions, charms, and binding spells to influence romantic partners. Awfully date rapey of them. They do later become the Italians, though, so I guess I kind of see it. Protective amulets, often invoking deities like Isis or Hecate, were worn to ward off evil. Yeah, like those dickheads with the love potions and charms trying to get their way into. Never mind. We'll leave that one alone.
Again.
Necromancy and divination. Roman witches, particularly those depicted in literature, were often associated with necromancy. Everybody was dying all the time. I could see why you'd be interested in that. Lucian's Pharsalia. Pharsalia? Pharsalia. Yeah, that sounds better. 1st century CE describes the Thessalian witch. Jesus. Oh, God.
They sure don't make it easy to learn about their fucking history now,
They
do they?
sure don't, man. They sure don't. Maybe that's our fault. This is our fault for being Americans. Maybe we should just accept that. We're uncultured swine, but we're trying.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. You're just here.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Not by choice.
Well, I'm here by choice. I don't have a gun in my head yet.
Oh, give me enough time. Say no to me once. I dare you. I don't know where you live, but I know somebody who does.
Maybe.
The Thessalian witch Erictho, who reanimates corpses to reveal the future. What the fuck? Why don't I ever get a necromancer class in games like Diablo that does that? Bro, I'm trying to look into the future through the guts of my necromantic summons. That sounds dope.
If anything, you see into the past because they're people who have already died. Whence cometh the future?
No. See, the past tells me that I'll be able to see into the future, all right? This is why I like to learn. Know your history.
I'm learning right now.
Famous Roman witches in literature. Canidia, 1st century BCE, from Horace's Satires. A fictional witch in Horace's works described as hideous sorceresses skilled in poison and necromancy. So basically just the evil witch of the West. Go.
I've seen that movie.
This is a difficult one. Sagia, Sagai, 1st century CE, from Petronius's Satyricon. Boy, I can't wait to get away from this era because these names are so hard to say. Old witches capable of raising the dead, featured in Roman satire. They have a lot of interest in the dead, seems. Erictho, 1st century CE, from Lucian's Pharsalia. A terrifying Thessalian witch skilled in necromancy, used as a literary device to depict supernatural horror, likely beyond our imagination. Now we're going to go to what is likely going to be my favorite part. Let's talk about the Bible. Do you want to talk about the Bible, Wizard?
Yeah, I guess. Let's ride this roller coaster.
That's good. We're about to start talking about the Bible, and it's not going to be the part where the bald man gets the she bears to maul the children, unfortunately. It's going to be the fun parts. Many of the earliest prohibitions against witchcraft appear in the Torah. The first 5 books of the Bible, additionally attributed to Moses and written between 1400 and 500 BCE, these texts reflect the Israelites' struggle to separate themselves from neighboring pagan cultures and practice divination and magic. Key Old Testament passages: Exodus 22:18. from 6th to 5th century BCE during Babylonian exile. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Based. Based. Deus
I
Vult,
wonder what they
brother.
meant by that.
I don't even think we need to wonder because we have a whole ton of historical accounts of what they meant. It was written in blood. This passage is
Witch's
one of the
blood.
it was written in anybody who we thought was a witch's blood. They were savages.
Literally fucking everybody.
Yeah. This passage is one of the most infamous biblical condemnations of witchcraft, often cited in later Christian witch hunts. Let's go!
Boy.
If God didn't want me to accuse everybody who I didn't like of being a witch, he wouldn't have written in his holy book that we shall not suffer them. Because obviously, that means that they exist and they shall not be suffered.
He himself. Did you get your signed copy?
First edition Bible enjoyer. Let's go.
We went this for a bit.
Oh boy, this is a Hebrew term, and honestly, I'm not even gonna try and say it because that is so ridiculous. Oh, the Hebrew term.
Say your Jewish tongue.
Don't talk to me like that. Nobody's supposed to know about that. The Hebrew term nakashapa likely refers to sorcerers or magicians who performed harmful magic. Because, I mean, if you've already said that you shall not suffer the witch, then, take it a little further. Let's just specifically single out the ones who do the harmful things, despite the fact that we kill all of them. Leviticus 19:26, 31, and 26, 6th century BCE. Do not practice divination or seek omens. Leviticus 19:26. A man or woman who is a medium or spiritist among you must be put to death. Leviticus 20:27. The book of Leviticus, part of the priestly code, strongly opposes divination, necromancy, and spiritism, associating them with impurity and idolatry. These laws were likely reinforced during the Babylonian exile of 597 to 539 BCE when the Israelites encountered Babylonian magical traditions. Because why not write about being hateful and violent towards a place that you were being exiled from? That just makes sense. That's like a calling card. You just throw that in at the end to make sure that they understand that you're not a big fan.
Imagine some fucking guy be like, man, I see great things in your future. You work really hard for what you have. Like, ah! Future seek! Ah! Kill him!
Doom music starts playing in the background. What did you just say?
Fucking turns around.
Excuse you? Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12, 7th to 6th century BCE. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. This passage explicitly lists forbidden magic practices, likely in response to Canaanite and Mesopotamian religions' customs that included divination and necromancy. I mean, I say what you will about the zealotry of the church at the time, or the authors at the time. At least they gave us an itemized list. I mean, there was a place to work around in. You could find new ones. You just make new words and then claim that it wasn't a part of those things. You probably wouldn't survive long enough to actually give them a solid difference, but, you could try.
They didn't use the word clairvoyance, so clearly it's allowed.
Well, it didn't use the word clairvoyance, but it does say interprets omens. Divination is kind of clairvoyance. Now I feel like I'm finding loopholes for the church so that we can kill the witches.
We're defining happenings, all right? That might just so happen to be about the future, possibly, maybe, sort of slightly.
It just so happens that I saw the future, and I'm telling you what it is. That'll be 10 shekels, please.
Oh, God.
God damn it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. The Israelites lived among cultures like the Egyptians, Canaanites, Babylonians that practiced extensive magic, divination, and necromancy. The biblical authors sought to separate Israelite religious practices from these influences, associating magic with idolatry and demonic forces. Well, yeah, obviously. If you're trying to tell everybody that you're better than them, you don't want to seem just like them. Wow. Actually, that calls a lot into question. I don't want to think about that. The Babylonian Maklu texts in 7th century BCE, which contains rituals to combat witchcraft, suggest that concerns over sorcery were widespread in the ancient Near East. Moving on from the Old Testament, we get to the New Testament, which is all about grace and happiness and love for thy neighbor. So obviously, it's going to be less bloodthirsty and obvious about it. You know?
Oh, I fucking bet.
This
Let's
is
find
the
out.
DLC package. This is where the good things happen.
2675.
By the time of the New Testament, witchcraft was increasingly associated with demonic possession and false
Oh god.
prophets. Well, we're not off to a good start. While explicit references to witches are fewer, sorcery is condemned alongside other sinful behaviors. God damn it. I
Is that
tried.
Tourette's? Is that Tourette's? God, like a
Yeah,
goddamn
get
demon
him.
inside you.
Get him.
We're gonna burn it out of you.
You have ancient epilepsy? Burn. Galatians 5:19 through 21, 50 to 60 CE, Paul's letter to the Galatians. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, idolatry, and witchcraft, pharmakia. Here we are back to the ridiculous Greek names. Hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage or spazzing, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and
Selfish
envy.
ambition. What,
Well,
brother?
yeah,
That's just.
obviously, if you're being selfish and a little bit rude, then you're clearly the same level of evil as a witch, okay? Like,
These fucking people are going
necromancers
around killing everybody. What the
and
fuck?
casual dickheads are the same thing.
It's like,
Oh,
I got
wait, no, it gets
pot calling
better.
the kettle black. Jesus Christ.
Well, I wouldn't say kettle too much. They might think you're trying to say cauldron.
Shit, I gotta use the words that I used to speak.
Now, here's the best part. It continued in Galatians. Drunkenness, orgies, and the like. So not only did they not like witches, or just like casual dickheads, they also didn't like fun. I don't know what that's about. God forbid anybody have a good time. This is why history doesn't start until the founding of America. Paul includes it in a list of sins that separate people from God, linking it to idolatry and moral corruption. Moving on to Acts 8, 9 through 24, Simon Magus. Magus?
Like
That's
a magician.
that's a little bit of an odd name to be writing shit about witches. Seems like accidental hurt yourself in your own confusion.
What better to know about what they're attacking than one of their own?
How'd you get that name, big homie?
Maybe this is where
Dated.
Magus came from.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately for everybody after him, maybe
Magus.
he's. Wait, hold on. Let's get through it before we actually start judging him.
I'm already judging him
From
though.
from 80 to 90 CE, the story of Simon Magus, a magician in Samaria, warns against sorcery because he was a
Oh
wizard.
my god.
Obviously, he wasn't cool with the warring factions. Simon tries to purchase the power of the Holy Spirit from the apostles, leading to the term simony, buying spiritual authority. Oh, okay. Okay, maybe this is where the word magus comes from then.
Bro, you got
Nobody
some
liked
ghosts
this
in you.
guy.
I'll buy him for you.
His character reflects early Christian opposition to magical practices and their association with false teachings, because anything that isn't taught by us is taught wrong. Know your place, worms. Acts 13, 6 through 11. Elymas the sorcerer, 80 to 90 CE. Elymas, a magician and false prophet, opposes Paul and is struck blind as a punishment. Somebody, like, hit this fool with an acid attack just for being wrong? That seems a little egregious. I didn't know he was British.
Oh my god! Oh, we can catch shit for that one.
It is what it is, dog. We're already shitting on the Christians right now, so and that's my faith, so it is what it is.
It's a plus 20 acid damage spell from the makers himself.
Yeah. Oh, you think you're a wizard? Joke's on you. I rolled a natural 20. This passage reinforces the idea that magic is opposed to the Christian faith and divine truth. Again, because anything that isn't taught by us is taught wrong. Revelations 21:8 and 22:15, 90 to 96 CE. John's vision on Patmos. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. Revelation 21:8. Magic is associated with eternal damnation, reinforcing Christian hostility towards sorcery.
That'll make an awesome metal fucking song. Just make that as lyrics. Idolatry.
I'm almost positive that that's been used in several metal songs. I mean, they are counterculture.
Pretty sure it's a Cradle of Filth song, actually. The idolatry. Fucking, what is that? Temptation, maybe?
Just reinforces that they don't like fun. Not sure what that's about. I mean, listen to the list. Okay, look, all right. The vial, questionable. Can't really, that could go one way or the other. That's kind of subjective. But false prophet? No, not false prophet. The unbelieving? That's just anybody who's not already on your side. So no room for conversation there, I suppose. Murderers? All right, cool. I get it. Can't be killing people. Well, could be killing people at the time. Honestly, that didn't change for quite a while afterwards.
It depends.
The sexually immoral, though? That's everyone. Today, even. That one never went away. They did a really, really bad job regulating that one. In fact, it's gotten worse recently. People are having way more fun than they used to. God bless birth control. Well, okay, God don't bless it, but somebody do, because apparently he's not about it.
Well, if it exists, it's because of he, right?
Yup, he gave us the mind so we could make the technology.
Not so much the mind, but the material. The mind is left to wander. The material is there for the picking.
We could sit here and philosophize about this incorrectly all day, but I think I'm just going to move on. Impact on Christian doctrine and later witch hunts. Here's where the fun starts to begin. Early Christian interpretations from the 2nd to the 5th century CE. Church fathers like Tertullian from 160 to 225 CE and Augustine from 354 to 430 CE strongly condemn magic, seeing it as a pact with demons. Canon Episcopi, 10th century CE. Wow, that's quite a bit of a gap. You got about a 600-year period there. A medieval church text argued that witchcraft was an illusion created by the devil, though later interpretations changed. I think he had it right the first time. It was most certainly an illusion because none of this shit is real, homie.
He saw it himself. He was there, Gandalf.
Yeah. Wait. I don't want to talk about the medieval. Yeah, not yet. We're going to move on from there. Oh, no, we're going to move into the medieval. Sorry, my notes had the Salem witch trials mentioned next, and I don't want to get there yet. Early medieval period from 5th to 10th century CE. Christianization and the church's stance on witchcraft. Christianization was a brutal moment in time, and clearly it did a pretty damn bang-up job because that is about the only thing anybody knows about anymore.
My Saxon homies.
First, we're going to chop down your Immersoul. Then we're going to take your faith.
They had to reborn their faith.
Well, I mean, to be fair, God damn it, we're going to end up circling back to Charlotte.
God bless the Norse comics! God bless Thor comics!
God bless the Thor comics!
I'm glad it happened.
I imagine going up to literally any culture and being like, hey, I know that those group of crazies genocided a ton of your people and crushed your belief system, but I'm glad it happened because I tell you
Thank
what,
God.
Jane Foster Thor, banger, homie, banger.
Maybe not Jane Foster Thor. That was pretty bad. But
You
Thor in
fucking,
general,
you shut your
Thor
whore
Barry
mouth.
Bill.
Jane Foster Thor outside of the movies was incredible. I won't let you slander her like that.
It was still pretty shit.
I can't say what I want to say on Twitch. You're lucky we're
We'll get to it
streaming
later.
right now.
You're lucky we're streaming right now.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, I'm good. Let's go.
Breathing. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE, Europe gradually converted to Christianity. Gradually, they did it by the sword, leading to changes in beliefs about magic and witchcraft. The church initially viewed witchcraft as superstition, because it is, rather than a real threat, arguing that belief in magic was a pagan holdover. The Canaan Episcopacy, circa 900 CE, a church text denied that witches could actually fly or perform supernatural... Wait a minute, hold on. This started in 500 BC, and it took us 14 years, 1400 years to get to a point to where somebody was finally like, yeah, I don't think they can actually fly, homie.
Maybe they can't actually fly. Maybe when you drop a human body into the fucking large body of water strapped to a brick, maybe you just sink in general. Shit.
God
I think we
damn it.
killed a lot of people, a lot of innocent people. Oh God.
Oh,
It's
man.
okay. There was a God now.
Is this one of those Nazi moments where
Oh,
they
man,
sit
they
at the back and they're like,
something.
maybe we're the bad guys?
Let's not talk about it.
No.
Hide the books.
Moving on. Burn the witch. Denied that witches could actually fly or perform supernatural acts, calling such beliefs illusions created by the devil. So, bro, the devil is so insidious that not only does he make you believe that witchcraft is real by giving people supernatural powers, but then later on he convinces your church to tell you that believing the fact that people have supposed supernatural powers is evil in its own right. So he's playing both sides, and he's doing it clearly better than they were, because it took him 1400 fucking years to finally figure out that none of this was real.
It's a lot of lifetimes, especially for that time.
I want to put my head through a wall. I hate this. I hate this so much. Early legal codes on witchcraft. The Lex Salica, 6th century CE Frankish law code, imposed fines rather than execution for women accused of practicing magic. Based? Is this the original pink tax? What the fuck? Oh, how far we've fallen. Originally, we thought they were doing evil, and then now we just charge them a little extra for plushy razor blades. The laws of Ethelstan, 10th century CE England. King Ethelstan from 924 to 939 CE prescribed execution for witches who caused harm through magic. Prescribed? Wow. I didn't know kings were also doctors. Incredible.
9 out of 10 doctors approve this message.
4 out of 5 witches disprove this message. Moving on to the high medieval period from 11th to 13th century. Shift in witchcraft perceptions. By the 12th century, theological ideas about witchcraft began to shift due to increased influence from scholasticism, which I'm pretty sure is just a fancy word for reading, a method of philosophical reasoning used by medieval theologians. Okay. Well, I guess if you have more books, you have more to think about. Isn't that neat? The devil became a central accusation for people practicing magic. Witches were now seen as engaging in demonic pacts rather than just practicing folk magic. Because, why not? Honestly, at this point, I'm starting to feel like...
trees made me do it, it's Satan made me do it.
Yeah. I wonder how long it'll be until we
rotating.
flip around to the people finally being like, Jesus made me do it. For now, though, This just hurts my brain. The rise of heresy trials also influenced witch trials as the church equated magic with religious deviance. There we are. There we are. Where is this? 12th century? 12th century is when it started happening? Excellent. Love to see that. Excellent. Took them 1,200 years after the book was written for them to finally be like, anybody who doesn't believe this not only is wrong because they're not taking our information, so they're clearly incorrect, but they're also evil, and it's probably the devil's fault.
Well, you see, 1,200 years isn't that long at all. I mean, kingdoms have risen, fallen.
Empires have come and gone.
Entire family lines deleted.
I'd like to say that science advanced, but they kept killing all the fucking people who looked up at the sky and wondered, so maybe not. Notable theological and legal developments. Here we go. Now we're going to turn into the legal side of things. The Decretum of Burchard of Worms in 1012 CE listed various magical practices such as storm raising and flying. Hold on, I thought we got rid of the idea of flying in the 9th century. They're falling
storm
backwards.
Raising sounds fucking awesome.
Storm raising does sound fucking baller, dude. I want to go. What?
I am the storm raiser. God, that sounds just fucking cool.
Actually, wait, no. There is a pretty big instance of storm raising later on down. Okay. But they dismissed storm raising and flying as delusions. So they wrote a whole law to be like, hey, that thing you think is happening, that's not actually real, dude. You're tripping. Take your meds, schizo. Touch grass.
Or maybe it's the meds you're taking that's turning you into a fucking schizo. Either way,
how the fuck would they know? Every time somebody became a little bit good at being a doctor, they called him a witch and fucking killed him.
Imagine advancement would have been like if they stopped fucking killing everybody.
I can't. They kept doing it.
Well, you got me, I guess.
I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. Clearly, he's a witch. He's been called every other name in the book. Why not this one? Pope Gregory VII in 1080 CE. Good graphics card. Missed those era. Or missed that era. Issued a decree against pagan magic and healing rituals. Based? How dare you care for the wounded and the sick? How dare? Banning the use of charms and spells. Well, okay, well, at least it's not the use of herbs and potions this time.
Dude's got some basil. Kill him. Is that rosemary I smell in your garden, motherfucking witch?
It smells like honey and garlic in here. What are you, some kind of fucking heretic?
Or a vampire? Or an anti-vampire?
Actually, there's an interesting story to the history of vampires. We should go through that at some point. It doesn't just have to be real history. We can definitely do fantastical stuff.
Well, vampires connect to, like, similar to these stories.
Now,
like, ostracized people.
Well, I mean, basically everything is history as long as we include the idea of mythology. If it happened within the last, 50 plus years behind us, then we're good to go.
All right.
Variety Channel. That's right. Come here. Check out All Bones, No Brain, and let's talk about none of the things that matter anymore.
They're all fucking dead. It's okay, though. They're not going to get offended.
Yeah, can't get offended. Everybody who believed in this is dead. And all the people who seem to do it nowadays are the Wiccans, and who gives a fuck whether or not they like us? What are they going to do? Hex me? Go ahead, bro.
No. I just took a plus 20 curse to my credit score.
To my credit score. What are you going to do? Drop my intelligence? It's already ground floor.
I don't even bother bringing that up. It's fine. Little dexterity, a little bit of strength. It's okay.
Yeah, Uno reverse card. I'm slightly smarter now.
The numbers rolled back around. I'm now the smartest person in the world. Look at me.
Moving on to the late medieval period, from the 14th to the 15th century, witchcraft becomes a crime, even though they were already legislating it way back in the Roman era, but okay.
It's been a crime for like 1,000 fucking years.
Well, now it's for real a crime this time. They're serious, okay?
For real.
Don't mind the book that came out hundreds and hundreds of years ago called The Laws, not Some Laws, not a book of laws, the laws. Now it's illegal for real this time.
Now it's actually in the laws.
Yeah.
The other laws.
Now, here's one that we're just going to gloss over because I know that this is a whole video itself. In 1347 to 1351, we have the Black Death, when how it was an accusation of witchcraft, which is absolute insanity. The devastation of the Black Death led to widespread fear and paranoia. Some blame witches, Jews.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what? My bad, guys. and heretics for spreading the plague, leading to increased executions.
And the deaths of cats.
Never heard anybody blame the Jews.
Neither have I. Well, if you go back far enough, you see, everything
circles back around. They're just mad that we won't accept their DLC patch to the Bible. Furious. Seethe more.
I had no idea that they were connected to the Black Death.
Oh, that one hurt. I laughed too much. My cheeks are aching. The first major witch hunts happened in 14th to 15th century. Before the 14th century, most legal codes treated witchcraft as a minor crime unless harm was proven. Proven. Bold word.
My crops didn't grow this year, therefore my neighbors are in fact witches.
Yeah, right. My neighbor ate a funny mushroom and seemed off yesterday. I think we should probably drown her. That's fucked. By the late 1300s, witches were increasingly seen as servants of Satan, accused of attending Sabbaths, flying. Again. They're never going to get rid of this, and casting deadly spells.
Like what?
Like Avada Kedavra, obviously. Somebody said it a few too many times, and now they're unhappy about it, and we're going to see consequences.
It's okay, I'm sure they died by now.
Based. Unless necromancers brought them back. I mean, they keep mentioning that too, so nobody's really safe. I mean, they did bring that one pope back from the dead so they could put him on trial.
Every hole's a goal.
Even the ones in your skull.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm one of those.
Key legal and religious developments. Pope John the 22nd's bull Super Ilius Specula, 1326 CE, declared that sorcery and heresy were linked, making magic a crime against the church, as if they had not already been acting as if it was for several hundreds of years at this point. The various witch trials from 1428 to 1447 CE in Switzerland, of all places. One of the earliest large-scale witch hunts was in Europe. Over 200 people were executed for allegedly practicing witchcraft, which likely was just them practicing their pagan rituals because they have a long history of that. And I'll bet you anything that there was probably some leftover Saxons included in that. Those fuckers just can't catch a break.
They ended up fucking everywhere after Charlemagne pushed them out.
Yeah. Now, here's for the fun one that we talked about before. One lightly known Joan of Arc's trial in 1431 CE in France. Joan of Arc was accused of witchcraft and heresy due to her visions and prophetic abilities, which Pete is of a mind that she was actually just lightly shitted with schizophrenia, but, you know, obviously, heretic, burn her at the stake. She was a little too good at leading men, too. I don't think they liked that.
She was too much of a champion among her people and a hero to them. And the church didn't like that one bit.
Is that a Chad Jane? I can't fucking have it. Absolutely not.
Women aren't people. Women are absolutely not fucking people. Kill her.
I mean, not as if that sentiment would stick around for a long time. She was burned at the stake, though later posthumously exonerated in 1456. Bro, they waited 25 years to be like, oh, yeah, my bad.
I said my bad.
I said sorry. Why are you guys still mad? Pope Innocent the Eighth's demise desiderans affectibus. I'm convinced those aren't real words. 1484 CE officially recognized the existence of witches and supported their persecution. So they just can't make their goddamn minds up. I'm starting to understand why people in modern era hate the church.
The grab for power.
They grab for power in the stupidest ways. Christianization was a mistake. I want to go back. That's it. I just converted. I'm a Saxon now. We really are everywhere.
Man, you got some nice fucking property.
Don't tell them that. The Malleus Maleficarum, which is a mouthful, in 1487 CE, the blueprint for witch hunts, based. Written by Heinrich Kramer, a Dominican inquisitor, the Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches, became the most influential book on witchcraft's persecution. I bet it was just a detailed list on how to make people really uncomfortable and or dead.
Oh, the Witch's Hammer? Okay. I remember the book.
Hell yeah, dude, let's go. Claimed that women were more prone to witchcraft, kind of in the name, due to their supposed weaker nature and sexual temptation by demons. What the fuck? That's wild.
I mean, when you're, stuck at home most of the time while your husband's out at, war or work, you're just getting tempted by the devils.
By the devil's cock, I guess. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I better not invoke his name. I guess he really wasn't about it.
According to these humans who have no connection to him at all, yeah.
The witches' hunt encouraged torture and execution of accused witches, which at this point, based on what it just said by sexual temptation by demons, I have to assume means they were just wandering around killing anybody who looked like they might be a little sexually frustrated and or horny. Fucked.
That bitch grinding a tree. What you think that is? A devil?
I think I understand why feminists are pushing so hard against the whole end of the sexual revolution. There actually is some historical accuracy to why they would be sketched out by that. Early witch hunts from the 15th to the 16th century. The role of the church in the Inquisition. Oh, there's the word that I've been waiting for.
Inquisition.
Oh, here we go. The Catholic and Protestant churches played a key role in spreading fear of witches. The Spanish Inquisition from 1478 to 1834. God damn, that's a long time. Bro, the Spanish Inquisition was still going on at, the Scottish Enlightenment period? Brother, the people who fought for fucking 1400 years over a rock started using their brains before the Spanish Inquisition ended. That's depressing. Anyway, moving. Focused primarily on heresy, but some witchcraft trials occurred under its authority. The Roman Inquisition from 1542 to 1700 was more skeptical of witchcraft than local courts, but still prosecuted witches who were accused. What? When did the Roman Inquisition? I'm going to have to look into that one a little. Dude, 1834, though, is crazy. I'm fairly sure that's around the time where the Industrial Revolution started.
It's not too far behind us right now.
That's not too far away behind us at all. Less than 200 years ago, they were still kicking around, calling people witches and putting thumb screws on them. Fucking
Maybe that's why people are so angry.
wild. Yeah, well, they weren't there. Do you know
I
anybody
wouldn't.
who was prosecuted as being a witch? I don't either.
Uh,
So maybe they should
no, but I
stop
know
whining
face.
about it and telling me that I have to pay reparations.
I know a bunch of Facebook moms who are victim to
Yeah, the granddaughters of, right?
it.
that was a fuck joke. Notable early trials and events. The Valais witch trials from 1428 to 1447 with Switzerland, as we talked about earlier, had more than 200 plus executions. Pope Innocent the Eighth, doubt he was, declared witchcraft a real dangerous threat to Christianity. We've been over this already. Oh, here's no, that one's there too. Okay, looks like these guys are just regurgitating the same information. Here's one. The Trier witch trials from 1581 to 1593 in Germany, one of the largest European witch trials, resulting in over 300 executions. Trier is a awfully convenient name because all of these different words are trying my fucking patience. Peak of the witch hunts, the 17th century. At least we narrowed it down to just one. Mass persecutions across Europe. Germany, France, Scotland, and Switzerland saw the highest number of executions. See? Salem trials weren't that bad. Massachusetts did nothing wrong.
Could have been worse. It could have been worse, bro. Could have been worse.
It could have been way worse. Could have been way worse. The Protestant Reformation, 1517 to 1648, and the Catholic Counter-Reformation fueled fears of diabolical conspiracies, as you do with religious reformations. Major European witch trials. The North Berwick witch trial from 1590 to 1592 in Scotland. King James VI of Scotland, later James I of England, personally supervised trials believing witches had tried to sink his ship with storms. Hey, storm calling! Hey, look at that! Looks like somebody read their book.
It just sounds so fucking metal. I'm gonna use that later for something.
Hell yeah,
Storm
dude.
calling.
Inspired his book Demonology in 1597, which justified witch hunts. Who saw that coming? Basque witch trials in 1609 to 1614 in Spain, led by the
They just keep
Spanish.
reviving it.
Yeah, right. Led by the Spanish Inquisition, but resulted in few executions due to lack of evidence. What the fuck does that mean? Due to lack of evidence. There was no goddamn evidence for any of it.
Due to a lack of evidence, we have found you guilty and must be executed. Bro, I think we got something wrong here.
Need to take a breath for a moment. I felt my blood pressure rise with aggravation at how fucking stupid this is. Woo! Woo! We out here, boys. Wurzburg and Bamberg, dumbass names, witch trials in 1626 to 1631 Germany. Here we go again. Massive witch hunts in Catholic Germany led to over 1,000 executions because the Germans don't do anything by half measures. The Pendle witch trials in 1612 in England. Hey, look, the only one that's been 1 year so far. 12 people were accused of using magic to murder. 10 were hanged. Almost got them all. Maybe the rest wouldn't have happened later on if they'd gotten those last two. Maybe they finally could have ended witchcraft. Torsiker witch trials in 1675 in Sweden. Hey, look, another single year. Largest Swedish witch trial where 71 people, including children, were beheaded and burned.
What the fuck, dude?
That's a fucking lot to take in. Sweden. How did Sweden get the. Like, why do we think of them as the. Oh, not
It doesn't make sense
isolated.
because the
Neutral.
Swedes were all about magic. Like, the Swedes practiced, like, Germanic Norse, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but, I guess when you're beheading and burning children, it's kind of a magical experience. It
But
tickled somebody's fancy.
Germanic lore is about magic and it being a more accepted thing. Why would they kill kids over magic? What the fuck?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. We've gone through a little over 1,000 years of history at this point, and I don't understand any of it, and I'm all done questioning. Now I'm just trying to finish learning.
Alright.
Here we go to the big boy, the Salem witch trials. the worst thing that ever happened in known history from quite a few people's perspectives. The most infamous witch trial in North America, taking place in Salem, Massachusetts. Over 200 people were accused. Can you guess how many died based off of the information that we've gathered through our media?
19.
God damn it. Look at you. You know your history. 19 people.
Yeah.
19 people. After everything we just read, I'm really starting to feel like they hyped this one up a little too much.
There's a lot of self-persecution. It's like, oh, my family went through this, this, and that, and Salem witch trials. Bitch, no, I fucking didn't. You fucking professional victim. There's like literally 19 people that were fucking executed, and the rest of them were like just slaps on the wrist.
You know, I've seen a lot of those granddaughter of the witches you didn't burn shirts, and I'm starting to feel like maybe they aren't, because there
Maybe they're
wasn't that
full of
many people.
bullshit. I mean, maybe if they were Swedish, I believe them.
Shit, no joke, right? Or fucking Spanish, or
Yeah,
interacted with the
definitely Spanish.
Spains more. God damn, dude, like 400, what was it, 400 years? Truly, nobody ever sees the Spanish Inquisition coming, and it's mostly because they don't leave any fucking witnesses behind. Causes for the Salem witch trial: religious extremism. Who'd thunk it? Social tensions, land disputes, economic rivalries. Brutal. Mass hysteria. Girls accusing neighbors of witchcraft.
And now
Yeah.
the women are accusing other women of it. Where's the girl power at?
No, I have a joke for that, but I don't think I can say it on either Twitch or YouTube, so I'm going to let that one go. In the aftermath of the Salem witch trials, the trials were declared unlawful in 1693. The next year? Yeah, they started in 1692. So a year later, after they killed 19 people and had 200 accusations, they're like, haha, my bad. It's Joan of Arc all over again, except they learned ever so slightly faster. Massachusetts formally apologized in 1711. Why? What? And never mind. Never mind. I gotta let it go. Making me angry. Decline of witch hunts. Late 17th to 18th century. Reasons for the decline. Scientific revolution. Who'd have thought? Rational thought replaced superstitions. It's 2025 and it still hasn't really done that, so maybe not. Legal reforms. Courts stopped accepting spectral evidence. Dreams and visions. How do you know that this person who's slightly richer than you and thriving better is a witch, sir, in the court of law? It came to me in a dream, bro. Holy shit. Enlightenment, 18th century. Intellectuals like Voltaire and Montesquieu criticized the witch trials. Hindsight's 2020, I suppose. End of the European witch hunts. The Great Scottish Witch Hunt from 1661 to 1662. Over 600 were accused, but trials began losing credibility. Fuck, I wonder why. The last witch execution in England happened in 1685. Alice Molland, God bless her for having her name actually, immortalized in this information, was the final official execution for witchcraft. The last official witch execution in Europe was in 1782. Brother, almost 100 years later, Switzerland finally came around? Holy shit, I think I'm learning more about them than I am anything else right now.
Fucking Swiss, yeah.
Anna Goldie, often called the last European witch, was executed. It doesn't say why, it doesn't expand, it just says she dead now. All right, fair enough. And I guess the Swedes felt bad about it. The impact of the scientific revolution. The scientific revolution encouraged empirical reasoning and skepticism, undermining the belief in witchcraft, which I thought we got to in 900, but I guess it took an actual 700 more years to finally get there. Key
It's another
figures.
700. I'm sure we'll loop back around.
Yeah, yeah. Give it a little bit of time. The pendulum swingeth, brother. Francis Bacon, funny name, 1561 to 1626, promoted the scientific method, emphasizing observation over superstition. God bless somebody for finally fucking doing it. Rene Descartes, however you say that, 1596 to 1650, introduced rationalism, arguing that knowledge should be based on reason rather than fear. In fucking 1600, I'm losing faith. How did we get from the mud to the skyscrapers, wizard?
Walking on all fours.
Yes, so.
Return to monkey.
I want to go back to the mud huts. At least then, when I'm angry, I can just just claim that the person who's pissing me off is a witch.
And you can have a rap at the same time.
Yeah. Isaac Newton, from 1643 to 1727, demonstrated natural laws governed the universe, challenging supernatural explanations. A whole 700 years later. I mean, Isaac Newton was definitely a genius, and like, I believe he was like less than 20 when he started working on the laws of gravity and such. So, absolute genius. Just upsetting to me that it took that long to finally hit that point where somebody was like, hey, by the way, I honestly, I think you guys are full of shit. You should probably stop fucking killing people for no goddamn reason. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Where's the last witch executed? The last known witch trial was in 1811. Dorka Zador in Hungary was the last known person tried for witchcraft in all of Europe. 1811. Keep in mind, we started this story in like 600 C. It took us fucking hell. It took us 2,400 years to finally stop killing people for being witches. This makes the fights over the Stone of Destiny seem like child's play.
Took them over 1,000 years to realize people can't fucking fly, too.
No, it took much longer than that because they kept
Well, over
circling back
1,000,
to it.
yeah.
Oh my god. All right, let's go to Wicca. Let's talk about modern witches. I hate them. Do you hate them?
I don't really have an opinion of them because I don't know much about them.
That's crazy, because from my perspective, they seem like a bunch of goddamn hippies soaking themselves in patchouli and carrying around a pocket full of rocks, which I guess goes back to our idea about the Scottish having a single rock for their nation as their good luck stone. So, maybe they are inspired by tradition. The folk witchcraft and pagan traditions inspired by European pre-Christian religions and folk and magic practices. Oh, this is the influences. The Western occultism and ceremonial magic, influenced by Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and the Golden Dawn. I'm gonna have to look into the Golden Dawn. That sounds metal as fuck.
This was pretty cool, yeah. It's like some Warhammer related.
Hell yeah, dude. I bet you anything it's not that cool, though. Theosophy and Romanticism. The 19th century fascination with mysticism and nature worship contributed to the Wiccan ideology. The 19th century obsession with nature worship? Get the fuck out of here. That's not even close to being true. Wicca began being developed in the 1950s. The first published book of Wicca is called Witchcraft Today, which was published in 1954. All those people who claim that it's an ancient tradition that they're falling back on, full of shit. I mean, ancient by Zoomer standards, but nobody likes them anyway, so we're not using their standards. Aleister Crowley is a key figure in the development of Wicca. Though not a Wiccan, his Thelemic writings and rituals influenced Wicca's ceremonial magic. God, I hope not. I don't know what you know about Crowley, but he was a bit of a degenerate. That dude was into all kinds of like deviant sex shit.
I don't know much about him. I remember from like the video game Nightmare Creatures. That's about it.
We'll go through and do a video on him specifically because, whoo, buddy, is that a story to tell.
Is that the guy that had like a really long dick and it got like chopped off because it was his source of power?
No, that was Rasputin. That's a whole other
Oh.
sexual deviant. There's a lot of them in history, if we're being honest.
Like your Rasputin and Crowley mixed up. I think one was very like witchcrafty and the other one was more like a manhole.
Did you know that in 1986, the U.S. court case Detmer versus Landon caused Wicca to be recognized as a legitimate religion in the United States? In 1998, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs added the pentacle to the list of approved religious symbols for military gravestones. We're circling
I
back
mean,
around. Circling back around.
it's a very old symbol used by the church. Oh
Yeah,
no.
well, maybe the
It's a
church had
circle.
a good point about idolatry.
Get it? The point? Get it? It's a pentagram.
It's got several points. Ugh. Okay. Oh, this makes my head hurt. Circling back around to a little bit further back, 16th to 18th century, let's talk about the history of the tomatoes finally.
Yes, finally! Jesus Christ!
Finally.
I've been sitting here
I
twiddling my
know. I
thumbs.
know you've been waiting for it.
I like tomato story.
It took a long time for people to stop being upset about tomatoes. It took specifically, notably, 200 years for people to finally come around to this idea. And it's primarily just because there are a bunch of non-technologically advanced idiots who eat off of pewter plates. And that's pretty funny to me, but also super depressing. So the tomato as fruit is highly acidic. And I've learned
Yeah.
this personally in my previous work doing the tomato show where people would throw them at me. There's only so many places that you can wipe tomato juice off. And eventually you get to a point where you're just wiping it right back into your eyes and it stings really, really bad. And every time you get a cut, a nick, anything, and the tomato juice gets in there, it really sucks. It's not like super painful, but it is incredibly annoying. And I've had hundreds of experiences with it. Tomatoes and their acidity were a problem for the Europeans because when the tomato was brought over to Europe and it started to become popular as a food, primarily at the time for nobles and rich people, which is kind of funny and sort of ironic, who were eating off of pewter and lead plates, the tomato's acid would pull the lead up out of the pewter and it would cause the people who were eating the tomatoes to get lead poisoning, which would bring them illness and death. So oftentimes, the people who were preparing their food were thought to be witches, and so they would be accused, put on trial, and often killed just because nobody understood that tomatoes are acidic and lead and acid are a terrible mixture, so maybe don't eat off of lead, you fucking imbeciles. Oh god, history and lead have like a long, long, long list of fuck ups, and that is depressing.
The
The
scratched lead plates in the fucking well.
yeah,
Lead.
yeah. The tomatoes were first introduced to Europe in the 16th century, but they were met with superstition. Botanical link to deadly nightshade. Technically, yes, they are in the deadly nightshade family, which I could see why even today that would give people some like pause, but that's only because those people don't understand how many things are linked into the deadly nightshade family. For instance, lettuce is a nightshade, aubergine, which is eggplant, cabbages, I believe, cauliflower is, and there's just so many things that are linked in that. It's like saying that, I can't trust your chihuahua because it's in the canine family, which is related to wolves. It's just absolutely retarded. Because of this, people associated tomatoes with witches' brews and poisons, which historically super duper funny. There's actually an instance coming up here pretty shortly in my notes that I think is really entertaining. And the poison apple myth comes about also because of tomatoes. So, thank you, Disney, for showing us all those images of the evil witch in things like Sleeping Beauty. And you know, her hanging out with that super red poison apple, which was probably actually just a tomato. Explains why it was so juicy in the movie. And they believed that witches used tomatoes and potions to bewitch or poison victims because the victims were rich people, and rich people are where all the idiots live historically, I guess. So, in some European folk magic traditions, tomatoes were believed to have protective and hex breaking properties, probably because it was eating the rich. Italian folk magic used tomatoes in love spells and charms. Gotta thank
Huh.
that for my deep love of spaghetti and other red sauces. Some believe witches could shapeshift using tomato based ointments, similar to how they used nightshade plants. Okay, that's just fucking stupid. The French nickname for the tomato, pomme d'amour, the love apple, reflected the belief that it had aphrodisiac and magical properties. Some legends suggested witches used tomatoes to bewitch lovers or make them fall under their spells. Well, yeah, to be fair, if a woman cut up a tomato, put some salt and pepper on there, and handed it to me, I'd do just about anything for her, too. That is bewitching. I get it. Let's go back to the Salem witch trials. Somehow the tomatoes connected to that. Though tomatoes were not widely cultivated in the American colonies at the time, some herbalists and suspected witches were accused of using plants from the nightshade family, tomatoes. They believed in flying ointments made from nightshades, which were present in trial testimonies. Here we go, back to fucking flying. They figured that
Now
out
Wolfie
in
rubs the tomatoes
900,
on
that it
them.
was just fucking, it was all delusion, but here we are, 700 years later, back to fucking flying. Tomatoes in modern witchcraft. Today, some modern witches and practitioners of green witchcraft, that's funny, use tomatoes in ritual spells and kitchen witchery, which I'm pretty sure just is cooking. I mean, I'm a professional cook, and I don't call it kitchen witchery. That sounds
Witch!
retarded.
Witch! Witch in the midst!
I'll charm the pants right off you with a homemade tiramisu, dog.
You had me at pizza.
Is this why why the pizza guy keeps getting blown? He has the tomato potion.
It all makes sense now. My eyes are open.
My eyes are wide open. Kitchen witchcraft. Cooking with tomatoes can be seen as a form of magical intent, particularly for hearth and home blessings. Thank God they didn't say anything about aphrodisiac or love potions again. Oh, okay. That's all of my notes. We got through all of it. We did it. That took so long, and I'm going to be honest with you. I stopped fucking wanting to talk about it anymore after a while. Dude, this is so stupid. I can't believe how many people died for such stupid reasons.
For thousands of years.
For thousands of years.
The same fucking bullshit, too. The same fucking bullshit. They're just flying
Over
all over
and
the place, fucking kill
over
them.
and over again. Because nobody ever learns and nothing ever changes. My head hurts.
I expect when we start devolving again, in about 50 more years, we'll start executing witches again for flying.
Based.
We're gonna use AI to generate videos of people flying, that'll be their evidence.
I'm going to start doing it right now. The revolution is today. Time to AI some people flying on Twitch.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
And what I really want to see is a return of the Inquisition, because that's what really matters. Somebody made a mockery of my religion. Time to call them heretics and burn them at the stake.
You can also edit your religion at any point you feel is necessary to include you taking mockery for X. Because religion is forever changing, you know.
That hurts. Like a lot. Alright. I mean, I'm sad now, so I think I'm done here. I think we're done here.
I love you.
Love you too, I guess.
Oh. Oh.